This is what's called an applique. You have a straight stitch that puts the shape down. You put a piece of fabric on it. It doesn't have to be cut out. It's actually better that you don't cut it out. Have extra. And then another single stitch sews that piece of fabric down. You cut the excess around it, and then you do a nice neat satin stitch around the outside. I'm going to show you how to do this one, sort of this one. I kind of messed up on this one a little bit, so I'm going to actually redo it from scratch in this video and show you how to make an applique the right way. So here I have my project, and it's in a 5x7 wide. Document properties. 5x7 landscape. I have my basic state shape imported, and I'm just going to draw it because I think that's going to be a whole lot quicker than doing anything else. I'm going to trace over it, and what I need to do is go to Objects, Layer, and add a layer. Make sure that you're drawing in another layer. You don't have to. It'll create it here, but I like doing it that way. And right here, be careful on how many nooks and crannies you put in, because then it becomes real difficult to cut that piece of fabric away. So I'm trying not to put too many of those in. Boom. All right. I'm going to leave it that simple. I'm going to take this layer 2 and delete it. There's my state. All right. So on this path, you need to duplicate it twice. Duplicate, duplicate. The bottom, remember when your machine is stitching, it starts at the bottom and then goes up. So on both of these bottom stitches, I'm going to push Control, highlight that one. Go to Fill and Stroke, Stroke Style, make that a dotted path, and it does not matter which one of these. All that does is tell the machine to do a straight stitch. That's it. It doesn't do a width. It does a straight stitch. Just like if you're sewing two pieces of fabric together. Straight stitch. You want that because all you're wanting to do is mark a line where that piece of fabric needs to lay. That's it. And that's the first one. And the second one, all you want is a straight stitch to sew the fabric down to your piece. That's it. Extensions, Inkstitch, commands. Attach command to selected objects, both stop and trim. You want the machine to stop after each one of those layers. The first stitch is going to go around. You want it to stop so you can lay your piece of fabric down. You want it to trim the thread if your machine will trim thread. You'd like it to trim the thread so you can put your piece of fabric down. The second time around, it's going to sew that piece of fabric down. And then when it's done, you want it to stop again and trim if you can, because you're going to take it out and then you're going to cut that extra piece of fabric away. So you want stop and trim on both of those first layers. Hit apply, and you can see pause and cut. Excellent. Now go back to your layer objects. On this one, we're going to go to Fill and Stroke. Set that however wide you want it to be. It's a personal preference. You want it to be wide enough to lay down the trimmed and, lay down and hide the piece of trimmed fabric. So I'm going to set it to that, and then I'm going to go back into Inkstitch, Satin Tools, Convert Line to Satin. Boom. And then we're going to troubleshoot to make sure we're good right now. Everything's good. So my applique for the state is done. That's it. And then once you put that piece of fabric down, and we just chose a random piece of fabric that my wife had laying around, little extra piece, kind of to see if this was going to work. And that was just an extra piece of fabric, and then satin stitched around it. The applique's done. I'm not going to worry too much. I'll put that star in there just to show you. That was just a basic star shape. And then I put it approximately where, turn off snap, make it a little bit smaller. I put it approximately where we are in Greenville. And then I made that particular one. Oh, actually, it's got fill. I need to turn stroke off. Okay, now we're good. We'll color that red. So let's do this. Let's go into Inkstitch. Let's go into parameters. See what that looks like. Pretty basic, 180 stitches. We're gonna do a couple things here. I want it to be a little denser. I want it even denser, so we're going to go 0.15. It brings the stitches up to 276. And then that's better. So once around, put your fabric down once around, cut your fabric away. Satin stitch makes the edge real nice. I like it. I'm going to show you how I did the lettering. That is my favorite font right now. That'll probably change, but I like it. The only thing I don't like is the capital G. I don't like that. So we got to do break apart anyway. And now text my G. I'm going to click that. I'm going to come down here and click that. Control Shift. Nope, sorry. Shift and then click, holding the Shift down. I'm just going to delete those. I'm going to scroll in a little bit more. I hit the wrong button. That's fine. Scroll in a little bit more. Okay. I'm going to move that up. I'm going to move that up. That needs to come over. Zoom way in. Zoom back in. I wonder why I can't move that one. Okay, there we go. Let's move that in a little bit more. Squeeze that in a little bit more. And click both of these bottom ones, and I'm going to give them a... That's what I'm looking for. There we go. Scroll out. Click that. And make our G big. Pull it closer. All right. Go down to Objects. Text. path, object path. Extensions, Inkstitch, troubleshoot. Okay, that one is easy. The eye needs to be disconnected. Path, break apart. So that's an easy fix. Okay. So, this E is okay. This E is not. Delete that E. Duplicate that E. Pull it over. That's an easy fix. Now let's get rid of our troubleshoot. We had one more, didn't we? Ah, that one's the same thing. So, get rid of our troubleshoot. Text. Last letter. Delete. Duplicate. Drag. That's the easiest fix. And then I need to reorder. So the machine will do it in the right order. I need G, R, E. And then the other E. Drop back down to the bottom. Ah, darn it. Drop it back down to the bottom. And then up. One more. R, E, E, and E. Okay, rest of it's good. Okay, Greenville. And then troubleshoot. Everything's good. Now, I want Greenville to be green. Nope, wrong one. Fill and stroke. Fill. Fill. Green. Yeah, green. So, after that, I'm going to duplicate. Hit Control D to duplicate. Now we're on top layer. Turn off the fill. Stroke style. Give that a, let's see what 1 millimeter looks like. Stroke paint. Blue looks good. I think I like black better, which I think is all zeros. Yes. Stroke style. I'm going to take that up a little bit more. Let's go see what 1.5 does. Yeah, I think I like that. That's a little bit more than my example. But I like that. I'm going to pull it down just a hair. Oh, hold on. In order to pull it down, I need to grab both of them. So, that layer and that layer. And then pull them down. In fact, I think I'm going to group that. So now this is more or less one. And I'm not going to worry about the TN part. You seen how I did this, so now let's see what the whole thing looks like. And keep in mind, if you're needing a single stitch, then make it that dotted line, and it'll give you that single stitch. So that first one, it just shows you where to put the fabric. The second one sews the fabric down. Then you cut the extra away. Now the satin stitch goes around that to make it nice and pretty. There's your applique. And again, this is the effect you're looking for. Okay, so I finished the project out after all. And then I took it to the embroidery machine and knocked my wife out of the way. Actually, she did most of it. But it came out like this. And she wanted me to stop it before the black outline so that it was just this. But that's the finished product of the video you just watched.